everybody, Lori here from Unique in the Creek. I am going to be doing this gorgeous new vinyl insert from Ibis Wright. We got Ibis, or asked Ibis, to paint us a couple exclusives for UITC, and this beautiful Santa was one of them that she came up with. It is absolutely stunning. It's available in our Christmas 5-pack on Amazon, as well as the 5-pack on our website. And you can actually order Ibis prints individually. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this Santa. I've been dying to use him. When I look at him, I think of vintage Santa. And I want to do something totally out of the box that nobody's really seen yet. So first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to show you how to put our vinyl inserts onto our Unique in the Creek character boards. It's quite simple, no Mod Podging involved, and the substrate that's used on our vinyl decals lets you reposition the sticker however you want, but once you smooth it down, the substrate and the board make a connection, it's really hard to get them back off. So you want to make sure that you've positioned your decal on your board exactly how you want it before you commit in smushing it down. Okay, the first thing I advise, even though the surface is already rough, is I like to rough it up just a little bit more. It gives it more grip, almost more teeth to hold on to. So I definitely make sure I kind of scratch it up around the outside by the holes. And this is more for Mod Podging. The insert does stick really well, but just to be safe, I still do this step. I just go across one way, and this is just dollar store sandpaper. Go across another way. So now I've scratched it up a little more that the adhesive has more grip to grip onto. Okay, you want to make sure everything's wiped off. I got a cloth here. Looks like there's some glitter on there. We don't want glitter on there because it will show through. Well, if it's very coarse glitter. Okay, so our decal is 2 pieces, and there's a back piece and then the front piece, and you just peel it off just like that. Okay, and then you're going to discard this piece of paper. It's very sticky, and you can see it's a very thick vinyl. It is waterproof, weather resistant, UV resistant, everything. So you do not have to spray anything further onto your center. And I'm making sure my hanging holes are at the top, and this is my center. This is the center of the board. So I'm just going to kind of line up, just eyeballing his eyes. So I just kind of make it into like a U, and just you want to line up. There we go. And before I commit to putting it down, I'm just going to make sure it's lined and it's right between his nose here. So that's perfect. So if you don't have it perfect, you can still lift it up, as you can see. And I think I have it right where I want it. So it's going to be just inside the holes here. And I'm going to take this. This is an amazing, if you don't have an actual Mod Podge squeegee. This is just from Betty Crocker from the Dollar Tree. It was just a little hack one of my followers showed me, and I absolutely love it because it bends, it doesn't scratch the image, anything. So if you're planning on doing lots of Unique in the Creek boards, this is great for Mod Podging and our decals. So you want to start in the center and just work your way out. So this is bonding the adhesive to the board now. So always middle on the way to the outside. Okay. Looks good. Now I'm just going to run my hand over it because that's the best way to feel if you make sure that you have your image on your board perfectly and there's no bubbles, because you can feel it with your fingers, and mine's Perfect. All right, that was it. That is your board and your wreath frame all in one shot. No waiting for Ibis paintings anymore. Okay, for this Santa, I want to have lights on him. I want to I want to really show off his face because it is definitely a work of art. Obviously, an artist painted it. So I really want to show that off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these timered lights, and I do sell these in our store on uniqueinthecreek.com and .ca. Put this back on. There we go. You want to make sure they work before you start putting them on. With these lights, there's three. There's an off. The middle is the timer. So once you put these on, so if I turned it on right now, it will turn itself back off in 6 hours, and then again tomorrow at this exact time, it will turn itself on. So if you want to have them turn on when it's dusk, you would probably switch them on in the middle timer part at around 6 p.m. So they'll turn themselves off at midnight and turn back on tomorrow at 6 p.m. again. Okay, so we have it lit. Now I just use a little bit of just Scotch tape, and I like to tape my lights in place. That way I know for sure his face is going to be illuminated. So I'm just going right between each set of holes and just taping them on the board. Now I don't want the light actually to be on. I just want it on the outside of the decal. So the actual little light bulb is right on the edge of the decal there. Now these lights will be zip tied in as well once we start putting him together. My tape's a little, I kind of went overkill on the tape here. You only need little tiny pieces. But once you get it on, you can move, if you have one, you know, too far onto his face, you can move it and just get them on there. So adding lights is very, very easy with the Unique in the Creek boards, as you can see. And like I said, I like to tape them on. I can move them. I can make sure they're exactly spaced out the way I want them. They're facing the way I want them. And they'll stay there once it's zip tied in. Now this is a vintage Santa. So I'm going to do a little bit something different I haven't done before. And once I'm done this, I'm going to show you. It's quite easy, but I think it's going to be spectacular. Like I said, I've never done it before, so this is new for me. And I'm hoping it works out. Now, because the vintage Santa does have a lot of gray in his hair, to me, he kind of looks a little older. So I'm not wanting to put like a stark white hair on him. And we're going to have some extra, so we'll just put a little bit extra going around his face. Oops. Just illuminate his bottom of his face just a little more. And make sure, like I just did, you don't want to cover the holes because we're going to need those holes. My tape is just a little bit too big. Move that back a bit. Just take that one here, and that one here. There we go. I think they all look good. Where I'm just going by the edge of this little light bulb, and it's running right across, so I'm gonna move back a little bit, right parallel with the edge of the vinyl. Because like I said, I don't actually want to see the light bulbs. I just want his face to be illuminated a bit. Okay, so he is ready to go, my board. Now, what I bought to go with him is I bought this inexpensive beard and wig set from Amazon. I think I paid like $10, I want to say. I'm sure you can find them cheaper in, you know, Dollar General or places like that, because it doesn't need to be a very expensive wig, because we're pretty much going to be taking it apart a bit, and same with the beard, but it's very, very white. So this is the beard, and he's got a mustache here. Okay, so this is the back, so you can see where the mouth would go. And it's kind of cool because it does really look like a Santa beard, but I don't want it as stark white as this, because like I said, I want to do him a little more vintage. So what I want to do is kind of give him a really light salt and pepper look, which means whites and grays and blacks, kind of make it a little old looking. I was trying to think of charcoal. I tried charcoal and it just rubbed off, and I didn't want that, because you don't want, you know, somebody rubbing it against their clothes or something and they get black charcoal all over them. I have black paint I tried, and I used a paintbrush. I really didn't like that effect either, because it left too many blotches of black. It wasn't controllable with the paintbrush. So I used what God gave us, our 5-10 fingers. I'm going to use my hand. I have more control of the paint when I put some of it on my hand. As you can see, some of my hand is a little black already. I get more control, and I can kind of scrunch the black onto his beard and not give it so, give it more control of where I want to put some gray. So I just got a plate here, just a little plastic plate, and I'm going to rub, not a lot, just put a little tiny bit. I have a little bit too much in my hand. I'm just going to rub it in. I know we're crafters, we can do messy. And I'm having it, it's kind of drying on my hands, and that's what I want, because what I want to do is just scrunch. Do you see how there's just hints of black going on the beard? That's what I want. I don't want big plops of black, and that's what I was getting with a paintbrush. Again, I'm going to just rub a little more in, and you just want to do it very lightly, because once you put the paint on, you can't get it back off. So I would rather do little tiny light coats of like this, and it may take me a little longer than putting too much on, which I can't get off. Okay, so this is kind of dulling the whole white down, which is what I wanted. So I'm just going to add. See, that's like perfect. You can just see a little bit of black, and if you kind of scrunch it in there, it just takes off a little bit from your hand. Almost like dry brushing when you're dry brushing a sign, if you've ever done that. Again, you don't want to put too much on, because you can't take it off once it's on there. So go just a little bit at a time. And once we get it on him, you can add more if it's not, I guess, dirty enough looking or old enough. But I'm going to put a little bit on his mustache. Now, I am going to be separating his mustache from his beard. But I have my hands all dirty already, so let's just put a little bit. Can you see how that's like perfect? No, don't start. Sorry. Barking dogs. There. I don't want it totally gray, but I don't want it totally white. And hopefully you can see how I've done that. I'm going to leave it like so right now, because like I said, I will put a little more on once this is on the board. So let me turn this around. Just scrunching. Okay, so there's his beard. I think it's perfect. It's got a hint of gray, a little bit of black, and you can still see the white through it. So I'm going to do the same on his wig, his hair. I have started it already. Now this will be easier once we get it on the board. It's perfect. Look at that. Love it. I'm only going to do around the front here because I'm not sure how much of this wig we're going to be using. And like I said, we can add some more on after. Alrighty, that is ready to go now too. So I'm going to wipe my hands down. I'm just going to put my plate and my paint aside because I probably will be using it again once we're done him. Got a big mess, but it's just acrylic paint from the dollar store, so it's not going to hurt anything, although it won't come off your wig once it's dry. I'll have to rinse this big time. Crafters just, I love to use a lot of things with my hands because you can feel exactly what you're doing rather than using like a brush or anything like that. Okay, that's good, I think. Okay. Right up here. And we're ready to put this together. Okay, let's bring Santa back up. Now, I'm not sure if I'm wanting to use, I know his beard is going to go down here. I'm not sure if I'm wanting to use the mustache because I've already painted a gorgeous mustache. Now, it does look pretty cool if we glued it right here. I don't know what you guys think. It is kind of cool. As long as you can glue it. And still see his mouth. Look how it looks already. Is that not like fabulous already? And I haven't even done anything. So what would it look like without? That's what it would look like. Let me see, I'll tuck this under. So without the mustache, kind of looks funny. So this part of his face I just absolutely love. So I think I'm just going to glue this on exactly where she has his mustache. Just like that. So this is the center of his mustache. I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the image. Now, of course, this is just a different way. You do not have to do it this way. This is just a different way that you can do the Santa. If you don't want to totally ruin Ibis' beautiful artwork, you can do this with one of our other Santa images as well. Okay, now I'm going to move this down. I want to make sure that the mouth you can see. And we will, this, like I said, this is a very inexpensive beard and wig. So we will have to do some trimming or some primping. Santa needs to be primped there. Okay, I will probably add some more black to him. All right, he's in, the beard and everything is in place. Oh, actually it looks really cool. Just want to make sure that this is covered. So I'm going to take the end, and you can see where the end of the mustache ends because it's there's a tapering here. I'm just going to kind of place it at the end of his mustache there, and I'll find the other end. It's right there. Okay. And I will trim, when we're done, I will trim out his mouth here. Okay, now we're going to figure out this wig thing. Definitely going to snip down the center of this. Now this is going to be trial and error. This is his bangs. So we don't want to put it too far. I'm actually going to cut, because there's not a lot of hair on here. It's in layers, so if you separate it, you can actually cut through the mesh here without snipping off any of the hair. You see how I did that? And I'm just going to cut up the center and see what that gives us. And I do have a few different hats for my Santa here. I'm going to still cut down, because all I want to do is literally wrap this wig around the sides. Look at that. Now I am going to hot glue in place. And then we'll add some zip ties to make sure it stays in place. I'm still... There we go. Okay, so what I've done is pretty much almost cut it in half and left one little strip right here for his bangs to keep it together. And then these are the two sides. Get rid of this tag. Okay. So, and then this will go along here. Oh my gosh, that looks so fabulous. And I have a few different hats for Santa. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the center of where I cut it, and there's the lining and the binding, and right at the center I'm going to put a dab of glue, and I'm going to, that's my base of the, I'm going to find the center of him and just kind of stick it on there. And then we can work around. Now, I'm not worried about this open space because we do have a hat for him. I just want to make sure all of his hair is going to cover his face. Oh, look at that with the lights. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's just folding it out. And don't worry about the hair, just worry about the meshing, attaching the meshing to the board. Okay, because we can trim his hair however we need to, because he's got some mess going on here. Okay, so flip this over. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little dot of glue at the end here and kind of swing. Oh, without burning yourself, and swing it around and just put it in place about here. And then we'll tack these on. So you see how that's covered that whole side. Now we will have to add more glue and stuff in a bit, but if I needed to move that, it would be easy to remove and move to the spot I want it to. So again, I'm going to put another dab of glue without burning myself right on just the edge here, and so the wig and the beard look like one whole piece. Okay. So that's what I mean about adding more black where you need it. So once he's on the board and you have it to where you want it, we can start adding a little bit more black to his wig and everything. Okay, I think I love the placement of him. So I'm going to start just adding a little bit more glue. Now you want to use really good glue. You don't want this coming off your board. So do yourself a favor and use industrial glue or Gorilla hot glue, or even E6000. So use some hot glue plus E6000. So you don't want this coming off. Okay, so I'm taking this edge again, putting some glue, and I'm just kind of putting it over top of the light here. So I'm going to do baby steps. So to make sure this goes exactly in the space I want it, I'll just get a pen to hold that down. And I'll show you in a minute the few, I do have a few hats that I was thinking of using on him. You want to make sure none of the hair is underneath while you're gluing. And this does stretch. It does have an elastic band on it. So you can stretch it to where you want it placed. So you can still see the light bulbs are showing. So they will glow through the hair. Oh, sorry. Somebody's here. I can never do anything without them. Okay, let's work on to the other side. Stop. So I'm basically gluing just over top of each light. I'm gluing the band. And then you can put a little bit more so it's on the board as well. Stop. I'm doing a tutorial. Yeah, well, that just got ruined.
Sorry.
Okay, we're on the last one. Okay, let's make sure our lights work. It's still working. Okay, now you can go around now and put a little bit of glue in behind the elastic bands to secure it right to the board. And that way it is not going anywhere. Okay, Now, if you still feel like you need to put some more secureness onto this, you can go through, if you flip it over, you can go through and add zip ties as well to the mesh. So if you go down one hole, now I'm doing the zip tie in the back, which I normally don't do because I don't want it showing, the zip tie head showing in the front. Go down and come up through the netting, which you can just poke right through, okay, and zip it up. So that's fairly easy. If you just put a couple of these in, that will give you the security that it is on, it's not going anywhere on your board. So I'm just going to put another one right here. Down. And up. Very easy to do this. So now I know for sure his hair is not going to fall off on it. Alrighty. Now let's work on the beard. We will give him a haircut soon. But doesn't he look fabulous? Like, we're talking a real looking vintage Santa. I am loving this look. Okay, let's do a little bit of work on his beard. And it's best for me to show you just upside down. See, there is a netting or like a piece of material on his beard. Actually, maybe like this. We want to make sure the center of his beard is right at the center of the board. And if you flip it over, your top hanging holes are here. If you go straight down, this is the center of the board. So that is where I want to make sure I'm going to hot glue his beard. So let's just put a little bit right there. Okay, hold that down. And then we can go and put a few more little dabs, and you can also add a couple zip ties like we did to the wig. Okay, I'm just going to add a couple zip ties to his beard. Oh, actually, you might not be able to. You could probably grab a couple strands of this hair and put that through with the zip tie, because the back of his beard is not like the netting that is on the wig. So as long as you grab a few strands of the hair that gets into the zip tie there, it'll stay on. And then we'll do it again over on this side. So I just got some hair there. I'm just coming up just like that and zipping it up. So I'm 100% sure that his beard is not going anywhere. Okay, let's get him trimmed up a bit. Now we might have to be using some hot glue again. And this time I'm going to use my spatula as well, because I want his hair to go where I want it, because it's a little unruly right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hot glue, just a little bit. Just run a little bit along the edge of the decal here, and just bring his hair nicely over top like it normally would fall. I'm going to do the same up here, because I want to see this beautiful painted face. I do not want to cover it up. So this is part of his mustache. I'm going to glue that down. Put a little bit of glue on the top layer of that mustache right at the end, and have his wig hair kind of go over top. And we'll put a little bit more glue just right there. And the best way to probably, when you've got everything pretty much secured that you want, another easy way is just when you hang it up, you'll be able to see where it naturally falls when you hang it up, and you'll be able to then tack it down. Okay, we're going to do the same. Let's see if anything. He's good. Nothing is falling into his face or anything. I'm loving the way his hair is flowing here. I am going to put a little bit of glue here, just a strip, and kind of fold this over so it looks natural. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this side now. Put a little bit of glue. And the vinyl decal can handle the glue, no problem. Even a Mod Podge center, you'd be able to do this as well. I know this is covering up Ibis' beautiful work, but look at that face. Like, it's just, it's so perfect with this, and it's so realistic looking with the wig. All right, I'm gonna lift under here, and I'm gonna start putting some glue here, pulling it over and letting the hair fall. And lift it up here. So basically you're putting glue wherever you want the hair to fall and cover up and do what it's supposed to do. And we'll trim all that up, these little unruly hairs. And I think we're on there pretty good. I'm gonna put a little bit under here, so this massive curl right there will fold over. Okay, his mustache. Because this is just cheap hair, you pretty much do have to glue and put things where you want it. So I'm taking his mustache, and it does kind of curl, but I want to keep it curled and keep it in the place I want it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there and just kind of curl it, and use your spatula to hold it. And that kind of gives him the curled look mustache. And there's the end of it. So we can put a little bit of black on there, and I'm going to do the same on this side, so that's showing his mouth a bit more. There we go. Just kind of have to play with it and put it where you want it to go, not where it wants to go. Okay, perfect. Now I want to see a little bit more of his mouth. So I'm going to glue this a little down, right, just like that. Pull this up a little. Okay. So So we'll trim all these little unruly hairs so you can see everything. Same as up here. Give him a little haircut. Oh, he looks fabulous. He looks so real. I think I will be putting a little bit more black in his hair. Now, we're going to add the battery pack just to the back onto the board. So I just have some Velcro little dots here that I use. You just want to put, now they don't stick very well, so I put a little bit of glue and then glue it, and I will do the same on the other side. So when I glue it to the board, because they don't stick the greatest. It's from the dollar store, these little things, or you can buy strips and cut them to size. So I just add a little bit of glue to them, and you want to make sure you put the side that you don't change. So you'll see little arrows. You want to make sure you can access that side of the battery pack so you can change the batteries. Okay, so I'm just going to tuck this in on the board just like that, and his hair will cover it all. Okay, now we'll play with his hats. I got a few different hats. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do him. We can do Gentleman Santa, which is a hat like this, which is quite different than normal Santas. I think he looks very dapper. And this is just one of the top hats you can get from the dollar store. I also have this knitted hat. It's really cool. It's actually knitted and it's got sparkle in it. The only thing is I liked the knitted, but the sparkle makes it, I don't know, it doesn't make it look vintage to me. I don't know what you guys think. And I have this very long Santa hat, and I am going to give him, I am going to give him a scarf below his beard. But I also have this long hat, which is a traditional Santa hat, and it's quite long. So we can have it going right down the side of him, just like this. And then he's going to have a scarf underneath his beard. I just bought this at the Dollar Tree. It's just a Santa scarf. That's what it looks like. It's got 2 bells on the bottom. And we're just going to zip tie it to the bottom of the board and kind of probably glue it to the side so you do see it hanging down underneath his beard. I am thinking I love this hat, but again, it's very stark, which is okay because I think I'm going to add a little bit more black to his hair a little bit. But I also do like the dapper Santa. Maybe I'll secure it that I can do both of them and we can decide later. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more black to his hair. And I'm going to do it the exact same way I did when I started. Again, just a little bit. You're going to get your hand, pat it around, rub it in. And I think I'm going to hit up here more since his hat is so white. You want to make sure you don't have a big blob of the black paint like anywhere on your hand. And we're just going to scrunch. There we go. That's the look. Like, again, remember, once you get it on, you can't get it off. So make sure you don't have too much on your hands. Although you could probably cut the hair, the actual hair, if you got too much. I'll get some on the end of his beard here. I am loving this look. Love, love, love. Gotta hit his mustache a little bit too. Oh, it's awesome. So let's get a little bit on his, I'm just rubbing with my finger, kind of using, there we go. You could also get some Mod Podge and actually twirl his mustache. So he has a twirled mustache. That would be really cool. I'd probably do that after. Okay, get a little bit down here. You don't want big flakes of it. There, now he actually matches his eyebrows. I think I'm almost happy with it. He is fantastic. Oh my gosh. You don't want any flakes of it. Okay, once I hang him up, like I said, I'll be able to, his hair will hang where it's supposed to, and if I have to add a little bit more hot glue, that's what I'll do. And let's get his hat on. Now I'm going to use this one, I think, and just put it, make sure his bangs are down. And I'm going to wash my hand. I'll be right back. I'm going to put 2 holes on the back of the hat here, and I'm going to zip tie the back of the hat on. And I'm also going to glue it. Now you can stuff the hat. I'm not going to glue it right now because I do want to see what he looks like with his other hat on as well. So these holes look to be right there for this side of the hat. So I'm just separating the holes here so I can see. There's one. Okay, I'm in the right area. And then I could see there is a piece of netting there. So I'm just going to poke a hole from the back through the netting. Right there. Okay. Go down that piece. Alrighty, and then we can come back up and zip tie it on. You won't see the zip tie because it'll be inside his hat. Now, should you want to change the hat, like I might, then you just unsnip the zip ties. Okay, there's one. And we'll do the same on the other side. I want to make sure his bangs are down. I definitely want to see his bangs. This is too far away. More towards the seam of the hat here. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to go down through the hole. Find the hole through the board. So you're going to go, this is the center. This is where I put his hat. I want to go to these ones to make sure his hat is on perfectly straight. So I'm just going to dig through this hair again and feel, there it is, poke it right through. And then there's netting here, which the pipe cleaner or the zip tie does go right through the netting, because the netting is pretty fine and it's got bigger holes in it. There we go. I didn't even have to poke it through. Okay. Oh, it is. There we go. Okay, zipped on. Cut that off. Bring this down. Now you can stuff the hat so it's a little bit poofy. I want to cut this off. I do have, at the time of this taping, I did have a few of these hats left on our website. They are hard to get because they are 36 inches long, so they're quite long, but they're amazing. So I'm just going to tack it a little bit because I might change his hat. So I just folded this. Now what you can do is you can stuff in here some like paper bag or plastic bags and stuff, and stuff it, and then seal the inside of the hat with glue so it stays closed and it puffs up a little bit. And you can do that for the whole hat if you wanted. You can put a little piece of cardboard inside to do that, or you can even use some plastic canvas. I'm just going to leave it. Just put just a dab of glue just to show you guys. So, because I'm probably going to change it and have his hat hanging down just like that. Oh, he's so dapper. Now that we've darkened up his hair, it really looks good with the white rimmed Santa hat, right? And he looks a little more vintage. I am going to give him a curled, one of those bicycle curl things or whatever they're called. Trim his little hairs. And then I have this scarf I got at the Dollar Tree. Just gonna lift. There's our center right there. I'm just gonna have his scarf kind of hanging down on this side of my board, I think. So where's the center? I'm going to zip tie right here. So I'm just going to go down and up. So we're getting in that wire for the lights as well. I'm going to zip tie this on. Okay. And zip tie it right here as well to make sure it stays towards the side, because I have the hat going on the other side. And we want it hanging so it's longer than his beard, that you can see it. You can use any scarf. You can use ribbon, give him just a bow, or you can just leave him simply with just his beard. He looks fabulous with just his beard. Oh, didn't hear a zip there. You know it's backwards. That's better. Okay. So his scarf is on. Now I can glue it however I want. I want to make sure his hair is back down. I'm going to glue it a little bit over Actually, I might just use a zip tie. I'm going to use a zip tie right here and to bring it over here, and then it's going to cross back. Okay, I'm going to cross it back over here because this is a longer end, and just fold it over. Make sure its beard goes back down. So that okay, I'm going to add some glue right here. Just like that. So it crosses over and then just hangs. Okay, let's put his beard back down. And I think we are done. I'm going to put his lights on. He looks quite fabulous and very realistic looking, doesn't he? He is awesome. I'm going to put a hanger on the back of him, the two hanging holes. Just put a zip tie through. And cut that off. Now you have a hanger, and we can hang him up. So once he's hung up, we'll fix his hat so it sits properly. You trim all the little hairs. You put the hair where you want it. You may have to use some more hot glue. Trim all these little wispies. Bring the bangs down so you see it. You may want to add more black if you want. But there we have a realistic, traditional Santa. Thank you guys all for joining me. I will take pictures when I'm completely done this. I am not sure if I'm going to be using this hat or this hat. I really like this one because it's different. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.